Just going to be continuing on with a little bit more worldwide shipping, container shipping. I'm really enjoying it at the moment, so I thought, why not? You know, and also in today's stream, we're just going to be touching bases a little bit about, you know, the current state of everything and how it's really going at the moment. In my previous video, I ran into a bit of a clustering issue. So yeah, it's basically just going to be a chill out stream, really. Nothing too serious. Accept mode. Yeah, I hope you're all having a nice day today. It's a bit warm here, so I'm just trying to cope with that. But you know, I've got a nice, cool gaming room, so I'm just going to be sitting and chilling in here and playing a little bit of On the Road. Little cheeky cut up there for the truck behind. Now he knows how it feels. Thank you to everybody that's just joined the stream. I hope you're having a good one. It's been an awfully long day today, you know, doing the chores and the cleaning up and everything like that, you know. Especially in this heat, it's not fun, but it's done now, so I ain't got to worry about it. But yeah, I fancied a little bit of worldwide shipping. Continuing on, it's going to be a nice little route today, up to Rostock. Got going to be collecting 2 containers, so it's pretty good so far. Yeah. Hello, Kate. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, 100%. The heat is just you know, I mean, can't win with the British weather, can we? You know, 1 minute it's too hot, next minute it's too cold. You can't win. Excuse me. I mean, the only problem I've got is got leather sofas, so, you know, in this heat, they're not very pleasant to sit on. You know, so it's definitely, well, thankfully my my Simrig chair isn't too bad. Nice and cool. What we're pulling here. No, that's right. I mean, you know, it goes from one extreme to the next, I think. It's definitely definitely a bit hit and miss in this country when it comes to the weather. You know, 1 minute it's snowing, next minute it's raining, hailstones, be a tornado next. Especially here, the wind is pretty abrupt. I mean, you know, we got no coverage, no land coverage. We're basically a little island, so, you know, it's quite mad. The trees and bushes grow sideways because of the wind. All right, let's get out. But yeah, thank you everyone that's just joined the stream. Beautiful day today. There we are. Getting the hang of it now, you see. But yeah, we got a nice little 614-kilometre journey to go. So sit back, grab your drinks and all that. Oh, afternoon, Stu. Yeah, it's a little bit like that here today, but I sympathise with you, you know. Working with tar in this heat is, yeah, I agree, it's not fun. But I hope you're doing well anyway. Do. Yeah, I'm. Oh wow, it's actually raining. Oh, this is a first. But yeah, no, I'm doing all right. I mean, it's been a bit of a hectic day today, to be honest. But it's nice to just sit back and chill out and play a little bit of on the road. I mean, what is the point? Come on. Swear I ain't going to be able to get out now. You watch. I'm going to have to bully my way out. Right, I'm going. I'm going. Well, I much prefer to damage the actual... Wow, I spoke too soon there. But yeah, in my last video, I think it's probably the worst clustering that I've had to endure in this game. It was absolutely ridiculous. I couldn't go anywhere. All the road was blocked, and in the end, I had to just quit out the game. I didn't see any other way of, you know, changing it and resolving the issue. But yeah, we're not doing too bad. Gonna be streaming this until the journey is over, and then a little bit later on, I'll be live streaming a bit more of DayZ. I was tempted to stick the radio on, you know, the in-game radio, but I don't know whether there's copyright issues or not, so thought it'd probably be best to just leave it off. So AI across the road. The NPC, she's just walking into the wall. Like even the NPCs are getting clustered now. What is going on? Wiper up. It's a bit strange. Oh, we do have some puddles accumulating. That's pretty cool to see. I just think the frequency of the rain, I don't think it just comes in enough, you know. But then saying that, you know, then they'll put it in and it'll be too much. Right, it's actually telling me to... Actually telling me to lock them for some reason. I don't know whether I've got them locked or not. You know, I just have to figure it out when I... Do you know what? I'm actually going to get rid of that because I am getting fed up of seeing it. Oh, and it still didn't even take it off. Okay. There we go. Hello, Eugene. How's it going, mate? Yeah, it's nice and sunny, blue skies here. It's a bit warm. Oh yeah, yeah, Stu. I wouldn't like to imagine what it would be like to drive around like a city, especially places like London. I mean, it must be. Oh. I mean, that's definitely not the situation where you want to quit smoking, you know, if you smoke. Yeah, look at this guy. Look at him. What are you doing? But yeah, Eugene, I'm not doing too bad. Just chilling out, really. You know, I've done all my chores. So, perfect excuse to jump on. And for once, it's actually raining, surprisingly. But yeah, this whole steering wheel topic for this game is getting a little bit silly now. You know, there's a lot of reports, especially on the Xbox side, where people can't use. There's some people that can use certain wheels, and then there's people that can't, and it's just like, well, which one is it? Do they work or not? I think that there's a bit of a mixed bag. You know, people are experiencing loads of different issues all over the place. And because they don't share their information, you know, there's no real list as to see whether, you know, oh, this wheel works and this wheel doesn't. You've basically got to buy it to find out whether you can or can't. It's a bit crap. But yeah, thank you guys for joining the stream. Hopefully not too warm. Ah, see, that's surprising, Stu. This is exactly what I'm getting to, you know. I use the G29 myself, and, you know, it's working fine. It's really strange. I have to find somebody to pull in up here because I've only got, well, it's 4 hours left on the clock, but I much prefer to for it to be daytime now. Can't really see much. The lights don't really seem to be doing an awful lot. It's like having two Roman candles at the front, you know. But yeah, if you missed last night's stream with DayZ, definitely give it a watch. I mean, there was a lot of messing around going on there. It's a pretty long video, but you know, it's you know, it involves me wearing a pink raincoat and throwing grenades and all kinds of stuff, running over cows and everything. You know, it was pretty mad. The PS5, Stu. Yeah, Eugene. You know, sometimes, you know, the game just... You're either in the mood to play it or you ain't. You know, when I was leaving that quarry and all the sandbags tipped out, I was like, you know what, I ain't dealing with this today. As much as I like the game, you know, it definitely rubs me up the wrong way sometimes. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was a bit close. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't cut that sort of stuff out, you see, because I'm not a robot, you know, I'm a human, you know. The game really sometimes, you know, you can sit there and work around it, and if you got the patience to, you know, to bring a crane up and all that kind of stuff, then that's fine. Some days it's like that, but that day, nah, I just wasn't having any of it. See, the problem is that game it really heavily depends on having extra hands, you know. Some of those missions are stupid. Oh, definitely Eugene, yeah, it is a very tough map. I mean, the terrain is not too bad, but when it comes down to how narrow and twisty and turny that map is, you know, you're prone to tipping all the time. Obviously, coming out of that quarry, that was it for me. But I think a couple of minutes prior, you know, I was explaining that I didn't have much luck with the quarries in Smithfield Dam and all that, so I kind of jinxed myself, really. The moment I mention it, that's when it happens, you know. Sod's law. But yeah, I definitely don't like transporting containers, like 2 containers at a time. It's very, I just don't think there's enough kind of, like, you know, discipline within the game to carry big loads like that. Yeah, sometimes I got exactly the same, Eugene. And when I try and go back, I remember where things are, you know, and I've got like long logs laid across certain parts of tracks, and to be honest, it's actually helped. Yeah, because it gives my trucks a bit of traction, so I've almost created myself a little wooden bridge. But yeah, on a few of my maps, I've got a few bits of cargo laying around. I don't know what it is, but rain always seems to make games look better, doesn't it? Yeah, Eugene, it's a little prompt, isn't it? Oh yeah, that's the place where I tipped. You know, better look out for that. And it's always like the innocent looking areas that always seem to catch you out. I think you know, after a while you get a little bit complacent. Hopefully there's a stop up here so I can just pull in, top up on some motion lotion and have a little rest. Just get on with it. Don't know what's going on with these lights though. They are on. Yeah, Farm Sim 19 is still a pretty solid game. I mean, there's definitely a lot more mods on that one compared to the new one, because obviously they're bringing it all up to speed, but it's not such a bad game. I picked it up for free actually when it was on the PS Store, or PS Plus, whatever you want to call it. People are absolutely crazy for Farming Sim 22 at the moment. Lots of questions being asked, but not enough answers is what I find. And yet again, it's going to be another one of those situations where mods really make the game. But yeah, guys, you know, if you could help me out a little bit, I mean, what do you guys like seeing live streamed? You know, do you tune in for the on the road videos, or just so I can get a general feel of what you guys would like to see, really? Ark and Banter, yeah. Yeah, that's Hell Let Loose, Eugene. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, you know, I don't mind it personally. They are the problem with it though is that the games are so long. You know, for streaming purposes. You know, if you were just solely based were playing that and you had a bit of a following because of it, then you know, fair enough. But some of these games, you know, they can be really, really long. It just depends on how it goes. But yeah, I will be continuing on with Green Hell. I think it's just one of those games which I kind of keep on reserve, really, because it requires so much attention. You know, you got to be in the right mood to play it. I'm sure you can understand. But I will be continuing on from where I left off the other day. I'm planning to build a little settlement there, because it's got all of the right well, it ticks all the right boxes really in terms of you know, materials for survival and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of vegetation growing, so it's definitely a good game to grab if you haven't yet. Yeah, Eugene, I read a very similar thing about the PlayStation as well. People reporting saves, you know, being lost and corrupted and all that sort of stuff. But to be honest, I haven't really encountered any issues with the game. I mean, it's quite an old game, you know, it's the Unity engine, so you do get a few frame rate drops here and there. But I mean, overall, I've not had any in-game bugs or any glitches like that, so there was a recent update for it as well. So the game, you know, the actual future of the game is still pretty stable. They're still updating it, so it's not like, you know, everyone's just left in the dark. That, you know, compared to a game like this, you know, you're actually informed. Yeah, I mean, you'll be surprised, Eugene. I mean, a lot of the reviews for this game, not this game, but Green Hell, you know, they all seem to date back a few years ago. So I think majority of the issues have been polished up now. The game is in a far better state than what it was, you know, initially. But then that goes to say the same thing about, you know, all these these PC ports to console. You know, it's just one of those things. Because I did hear they're bringing the gas station simulator to console as well. So hopefully that's in a little bit of a stabler state. But they don't generally, you know, they're not really stable when they first come across. Right, I can turn my wipers off now, he says. Tachograph, change time. There we go, we've got 9 hours on the clock now, happy days. Well, Stu, I mean, what platform did you buy it for? Because the idea for me, really, I mean, if you bought it for the PlayStation. The idea for me, I did start a multiplayer series on it, but the guy that I did it with, he didn't have his voice share on, so I was spending ages basically just talking to myself, or that's what it seemed like anyway. Yeah, there's no cross-play for Green Hell, which is a shame, but I mean, I was doing a little bit of digging, especially for the survival games that I've currently got, you know, things like Stranded Deep and all that, but I wasn't really aware that they made the game multiplayer now. When I first played it, it wasn't multiplayer, but as of late, they've introduced multiplayer to it, so you know that could potentially be something for the channel as well. But yeah, Stu, well, like I said, if you're on the PlayStation, you're more than welcome to add me. I mean, I play a variety of games, but they're, you know, I'm always open to gaming with others. Yeah, I mean, a little story for me with Stranded Deep is that, you know, I think I paid a tenner for it, and then a few days after they made it free for PS Plus, so, you know, that's how they get you, innit? Yeah, it's alright, we'll put it on a sale a couple days before, and then we'll make it free. I mean, it wasn't so bad. I mean, because you know, I feel that the game was definitely worth £10 anyway. You know, so I looked at it from that basis. But yeah, what you all up to? Let me know what you're doing. You just got me on in the background, or you're playing some games? What are you doing? Let me know. I was thinking about starting up Subnautica again. That game is really, really cool. Not too keen on the latest one, the Below Zero. I think that was just for the land aspect of it, to be honest. Yeah, I don't blame you, Eugene. I mean, it's a beautiful day. Yeah. You know, as they say, a walk a day keeps the doctor away. Yeah. Yeah, the problem that I've got really is, you know, it's like where I'm so active all the time, you know, actively walking everywhere, walking miles and miles each day, you know, because it's part of my job. When I actually sit down and don't move, I start to seize up. Yeah, funny you should say that, Stu. I had the same problem as well with that game. You know, that's the thing. I've begun to learn that, you know, if a game comes on sale more than 3-4 times consecutively, one after the other, then it's kind of a clear indicator that the game's going to become free at some point. It's just a little cash grab before they do so. Oh, nice one, Kate. Yeah, like I say, it's a beautiful day. You just got to be careful in this sun, you know, because I know that sun in other countries is hot, but here it's just, oh, it's rife. And I think it comes alongside with all the humidity as well. You know, when it's 25 degrees plus, it is definitely 25 degrees plus, isn't it? You know, we're not used to it. See, I don't burn, I roast. Look like a lobster. Yeah, yeah. Some people definitely catch the sun quite bad, don't they? You always see the brickies and all that. You know, the scaffolders and everything. You know, doing the roofs and that. You know, they're all usually crisped. Must be a pretty tedious job when you're working in this sort of heat. But then I guess it could be worse. It could be raining. And then nobody works, do they? A couple of pints down the pub after a long day's work. Beautiful. You know, usually when I come back from the festivals and stuff, it's surprising the things you take for granted, like porcelain, like a toilet and soap, all that sort of stuff, being able to go to the toilet in peace without feeling like the walls are shaking. Yeah, I'm quite fortunate in that sense because, I do a lot of festival work, a lot of event security. So, I get to see and watch some of my favourite bands, but walking around at nights, it comes anywhere from like 12 to 18 hours shift wise. It can be quite physically and mentally demanding, especially with some of the stuff that you've got to put up with. Nice one, Stu. Yeah. I mean, you would, wouldn't you? If you've been working at it for that long. Oh, Eugene, where do I even start? Where do I even start? I mean, I work as part of a response team. So we drive around in a Land Rover, and we basically just get called in when things get a little bit hectic, especially for the stewards in the SIA that are on the ground. We tend to deal with the worst of the worst, really. But yeah, I do have some pretty doom and gloomy stories. Yeah, Eugene. So I mean, it really depends on the event organizer, to be honest. It's a bit of both. You get stewards and you get SIA, but the stewards are obviously put in places, just to like guard a few bits and pieces. Usually toilets and gates, and it's like traffic people, opening and closing roads. It is pretty boring, to be honest. But I mean, I've dealt with a lot of stewards in the past, and they've all asked me the same question. It's like, well, what are we allowed to actually do? Because they tell you you're not allowed to get hands on if you're not badged, because for insurance purposes. But I just tell them this. I just say, look, if somebody comes at you, you have the full right to defend yourself, whether you're badged or not. And it gives them a little bit more confidence, But yeah, I've dealt with a fair load of stuff. Some pretty grim stuff too. Especially we call it the dead man shift. So usually the day after the festival's finished, we go round and we check tents and things like that. And sometimes, yeah, you do come across things that you don't want to find. But, it's part of the job, I'm afraid. Yeah, Stu, it is hectic. It is hectic. But I got a solid group of lads, you got to think, you put your life into somebody else's hands. You've really got to work well as a team, communicate, and it's a very effective. But doing crowd control for thousands of people, especially trying to escort ambulances down the tracks and all that kind of stuff. To be honest with you, I think Leeds was the worst one that I attended. I've attended it quite a fair few times, but over the years, these kids these days, they're just popping pills left, right and centre. They can't handle it. Can't handle their drink and, for welfare issues, it just comes out your ears. I think the worst one for me really is the fact that, people come to these festivals and, they're under the age of 18. And if there is an incident, then it's classed as a welfare issue because they need a consenting adult. And it makes you wonder, well, if you need a consenting adult, why are they letting people under the ages of 18 or whatever work, come into these festivals? It's bizarre. Yeah, Eugene, I've got a little story. So this is quite bizarre. So it was a festival called Bestival, and there was this camp set up right next to a VIP glamping area. There was a kids zone, and there was just a Harris fence just separating the two areas. But there was this guy, and he was sat there, and he was doing balloons. And I've walked round, and he's crushing up some powder on his phone, and I literally just smacked the phone out of his hand. He didn't even see me coming. But anyway, we dealt with him, and we usually take the substances back to get them tested, because we have an on-site testing thing, where people can take in a sample of their drugs just to see whether it is what it says it is, really. And no judgment along the way, sort of thing. But what this guy was about to ingest turned out to be concrete powder. So the poor bloke, he thought it was something else, and it wasn't that. It was a mixture of things like cinnamon but the main compound in it was concrete powder. So we kind of done him a favour, really. Yes, Stu. I mean, to be honest, right? Some SIA they enjoy their job a bit too much, take it a bit too seriously, Whereas me, I've done it long enough now to know that I'm not there to intimidate. I'm there to facilitate a controlled environment. You know, I'd rather de-escalate a situation rather than get into a scrap with people, you know. And it has happened. I mean, you can't argue with some people, but they soon learn the hard way. I can assure you that much. But yeah, on the plus side to that, I mean, you know, I remember escorting the Foo Fighters up to the main stage at Leeds, and I was put on the main pit, the pit wall, and we had people lighting rolls of toilet roll and throwing it at us and stuff like that. It was a huge problem that year. I think it was back in like 2018, 2019, I think. Yeah, it was a bit chaotic. But it's the aftercare for people that really endure the worst of the worst. I mean, I've dealt with a few people dying. You know, I've discovered a few bodies here and there, and I've just I'm a bit seasoned to it now. You know, there's not really much you don't see in that sort of environment. I know that people are there to have a good time, but you know, that does happen. It does happen. You hear all the horror stories before you go, and it's not all that bad, you know. But there's a little dark underbelly, you know, a dark underworld to it all. And sometimes things are just out of your control. You know, I was actually I attended a festival called Latitude, and I was on the pit wall, and all of a sudden there was just a massive surge of people, and when you get a massive surge at the back, it pushes everybody forward. And there was a woman there with a backpack, and she was handing me the backpack over the wall, and I opened up the backpack because it was extremely heavy. There was noise, there was crying coming from the backpack. Basically, what this woman did was she was carrying a baby inside this backpack with a pair of ear defenders on. You know, so it just goes to show, you know, what levels people really go to attend these festivals. But you know, it's really dangerous. That baby could have been crushed because she was right up at the front. Yeah, Kate, it's a problem, you see, you know. Yeah, Stu. I mean, that happens more frequently than what you think. You know, we do get touts and all that sort of stuff, you know. And these days, you know, it's a lot harder to get into these festivals. I mean, if you're in there, fair enough, you know. You know, I kind of give praise to some people, you know, because if they manage to get in, they almost kind of like deserve to be in, you know what I mean? But yeah, you got to be on your guard, you got to be on your toes. But yeah, I've done tea in the park. We travel all up and down the country, Yeah, you're probably better off not going, to be honest, Stu. You know. As much as, you know, I mean, it depends really, doesn't it? You gotta be in the right space. I mean, one year I worked at Glastonbury Festival, and you know, we had weather like this, you know, going up to nearly like 29 degrees, you know what I mean, 30 degrees or whatever, and there was a huge water shortage, and my job was to basically go round and tell the people that have been queuing up for showers for nearly 2 or 3 hours that they had to leave because there was no water left. They completely emptied the reservoir, so they spent the majority of the day filling it back up. Absolute chaos. You know, the problem is like the VIP side of things, it's not very VIP, you know, because the price differences between the tickets aren't that much. You know, you say you spend 50 quid on a standard ticket, but a VIP ticket's 60 quid. All the people, they pay the extra tenner, and then it's like VIP doesn't actually become VIP anymore, you know, so it never works out. But the one thing that gets me more than anything, especially working alongside the police, you know, it's quite an extensive job, but I really enjoy it. Oh, Eugene, I mean, so I've met quite a few of the popular artists. Post Malone, I was actually on the quarters for him before he goes onto stage. You know, I was guarding his door. You know, I've done things like Panic at the Disco, Rammstein, all that sort of stuff. The list really goes on. All the main pop artists. You know, like Download Festival, you get to meet a lot of them as well, like Steel Panther and, you know, all that sort of stuff. Metallica. Fall Out Boy. Actually, for my partner, I managed to get his guitar pick for her. So, you know, there are perks to the job. But for me, I'm there to do a job. You know, I don't get starstruck. You know, I treat them like normal people. I'm there to do a job. So I'm more concerned about everybody else's welfare to really care to what's really going on stage, if I'm honest. But I don't know if you've ever heard of the band, the artist Pendulum. I had the joys of being on pit wall for Pendulum one year, and the bass was that intense that my earplugs kept falling out. So yeah, I was shaking for a few hours after that, because they when they were supposed to stop, they didn't stop. They continued. They played one of their popular tracks, you know, Tarantula, and it was just absolute chaos. But I had the luxury of meeting Keith Flint. You know, I had a coffee with Keith Flint. It's just little things like that, really. But I got lots and lots of photos and lots of videos. I got a few signed bits and pieces here and there. You know, lanyards coming out my ears. You know, I collect all that. Yeah, Eugene, it was quite upsetting for me. See, the problem is that he was such a nice, down to earth bloke that nobody would ever suspect, and I think that's what it boils down to. You know, no one ever suspected that he was feeling that way, and unfortunately, you know, that's the way it went. But he was a top bloke. Quite mad as well, heavily into his drugs. You know, every time I saw him, he was always pinging or fart assing around. You know, he was always up to something. yeah, we got to see things like the Rolling Stones and all that. My bosses were heavily into the Venga Boys, and 1 year at Latitude they were actually on the stage which we were running, and yeah, it went absolutely crazy. They got loads of stuff signed and all that. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But the after party that we had, oof. We had what we usually do is we just wait for everybody to clear off, and then we that's where our fun starts. And you get all the people around that leave their alcohol and give you alcohol and all that kind of stuff. Obviously all sealed bottles and that. Yeah, we had a massive blowout. Yeah, Stu. I mean, an all right is better than nothing, I suppose. Sometimes they just look at you, but it's really weird because where I'm so used to seeing these people on somewhat of a yearly basis, it doesn't really faze me now, to be honest with you. At first, when Foo Fighters, one of my favourite bands by far. When I got to do what I did with them, it was quite an experience, but even then I wasn't too really starstruck or fazed by it, because in that environment it's a bit weird. Your instincts kick in. You're too busy focusing on what everybody's doing. But no, I've had the pleasure of being involved in a few covert operations, especially with the event company that I used to work with. There was a lot of tent thefts and people stealing possessions, selling drugs, all that kind of stuff. I had to dress like a civvy, walk around and just keep my ear to the ground. You know what I mean? I had to walk up to a few members of security and show me badge and just say, look, I'm here working. I'm going to be doing a few things which are going to come across as a bit suspicious to you, but don't mind me. I'm just trying to catch people out. Go and ask them if they know anybody that's got any pills or whatever like that. You'll never catch the one running it. It's always the dealers you catch. You just hope that it's almost like trying to bottleneck the supply. But no, I worked Bristol Downs 1 year. It was the last tour for Madness. It was the last place of the summer tour. And I was on a production stage for that. So I got front row seats. Even bought myself a little bit of merch and got it signed by them and things like that. I always struggled with asking, really. I don't like intruding. It's they've got a heavy schedule and you've got loads of these people coming up to them. And the last thing I want to do is piss them off. You know what I mean? But yeah, Madness was a good one. Yeah, definitely, Stu. Work first. The problem is you're monitored so much, and in that line of work, you can't slack. You really can't. You're wearing a high vis. It's not like you're not going to be spotted. But you'd be very surprised, actually, the amount of people that don't know how to use a radio. SIA trained all the way through. They've done their training, their course, and all that kind of stuff. but yet they don't know how to use a radio. You know, that's your tool, that is. But yeah, I've smacked a few people over the head with the back end of my radio. Sometimes it's got to be done. I probably shouldn't say that, but you know, it's like, shut up, boff. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Yeah, all right. You know, one year at Leeds Festival, I was number 2 for the Orange campsite, and we had a welfare issue come up over the radio. So me and the zone manager, we walked round, and honestly, you've never seen anything like it. There was a young lad, stark bollock naked with his shorts round his ankles, laying in the front of somebody's tent. And I don't know whether you've ever watched the film Jurassic Park. You know, you got that big mound of dung, like, you know, you never seen anything like it. It was a mountain, you know, and he was drunk. I don't know what else he had took. He wouldn't admit to it, but yeah, that was a lovely process. We radioed it in to control and asked if somebody could come out and clean it up, and they said, no, we're not going to do that. If you want to clean it up, crack on. I'm like, I'm not touching that. I don't get paid enough to touch that stuff. Yeah, that's right, Stu. Some of these kids these days, they, you know, not enough discipline. Not enough discipline. You know, and in my world, you go for me, you know, you best be prepared to use whatever you got, because I'm coming for you. And there's some big boys in my unit, in my team. We got a guy called Thor, and we call him Thor for a reason, because he's 6'7", but he used to be an ex professional wrestler, and the guy is he's a monster. You know, he gets out the back of the Land Rover and the suspension goes up. Do you know what I mean? He's a big bloke. I mean, just to put it into perspective a little bit, the bloke's got size 27 feet. So, yeah, size 27 feet. He's got to get all his shoes like custom made and everything. He's a big chap. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate you all joining the stream. It's nice having a little chat. Yeah, Stu, I mean, you know, it's like that sort of attitude, you know, it is massively appreciated, especially in that line of work, you know. At the end of the day, yes, we are doing a job, but it doesn't mean to say that some people in the line of security are out of order, because some of them are. At the end of the day, you know, like the people that cause grief for security, they're the only ones that are going to end up missing out. You know, evicting people off the premise is, you know, hard enough. You know, if they go politely, then that's fine. But you know, when you got alcohol and pills and whatever inside you, you know, you just don't know. Especially with weapons these days. Well, no one's ever interested in fighting with their fists anymore. You know, they're always carrying something. But yeah, like I said, it's just to I'm just there to create a controlled environment. Yeah, Stu, this is it. I mean, it depends. I mean, some of the working conditions that people have to endure, especially with the festivals, because we don't get fancy hotels or anything like that. You know, we get the same conditions really as what all the punters do. You know, you either sleep in your van or your truck or whatever, or you pitch a tent. You know, so we all work in sleep and eat in the same conditions as everybody else. You know, and especially being on night shifts, you know, because I work nights, you see, so you know, I'm on the clock from about 8 p.m. until 8 in the morning, but obviously it never sticks to that time schedule. But yeah, it's trying to sleep through the day when you've got all the festival life going on, and obviously the heat at the same time. It's not pleasant. It's really not pleasant. So I'm actually going to sell that trailer because I've had enough of it now. Right, guys, do you wanna see one more? I don't mind doing an extra load. Yes, Stu, that's the problem. I mean, some people they just see you as an inconvenience, you know, and I mean it's got to be done. I mean, it does get a bit frustrating sometimes, you know, like the same times each year, you know, during the summertime especially, where all the roads are being dug up and that, you know, the heat gets to people, doesn't it? You know, I sympathise with all the name being called every name under the sun and all that. You know, but you get used to it, don't you? Oh, a nice one, Eugene. Yeah, I think I am going to. I think I am going to do a nice little delivery. Let's have a look. Yeah, we'll go for that one. Oh, of course, I've got to reverse back, can I? Right. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, as long as it auto locks, you know, that's all good. Right, what we like for sleep? Right, I'll get that done out of the way with now. So I ain't got to put up with it. We're all right for fuel. Yeah, it's far better using just without the trailer. but I really can't wait for my camera to come. You know, it'll be a lot of setting up to do and stuff like that, but I think it'll definitely make the streams a little bit more interesting, you know, so you can see my rig and stuff and watch me use the wheel. And I'll be able to cover a few more games as well that use wheels. So I'm definitely excited to get it all set up for you guys. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, Stu is just one of those, you know, like the services which we provide. People don't get it. You know, like I said, they just see us as an inconvenience to their day, to their fun. You know, and without people like us, you know, the world stops. You know what I mean? So, you know, someone's got to do it. And yeah, definitely, the cam would be cool. It's just to spice the videos up, really. I mean, I remember the early days. I mean, I had a little sideline job working in a pub/restaurant, and it didn't last very long. The manager was a bit of a wet wipe, to be honest, and you know, like dealing with customers there. I mean, my first day, you know, everyone was on my case, and that was it for me. It was alright for what it was, you know, we got to do what we can to make money and all that, but you know, then it kind of just took off for me in the security industry. And obviously over the years you kind of build a reputation and you get familiar with all the other people that do the events too, and yeah, it's just one big happy family, really. You got to be slightly screwed in the head to enjoy a job like that. But no, just to put it into perspective for you, really. I mean, I ended up doing like 90 hours in the space of 5 days at the Isle of Wight. So Eugene, what you growing? Yeah, Stu, it was definitely a bad week. And unfortunately for me, I was on a stage called Cirque de la Quirk. It was like, I don't know how to put it. There was just fire and paint cannons and all this sort of stuff. And the main arena, the main stage and stuff, it all kicks out at 12 o'clock. So everybody comes flooding in. Now, the stage that I was working on was the last stage to close. It didn't close until 3 in the morning. You know, it's definitely a strenuous job. Never mind, run a red. Oh, nice one. Yeah, yeah. I recently, a couple months back, I planted some tomatoes with my boy. It was just a little experiment, really. I mean, I cut a baby tomato in half, stuck it in a pot, and next thing you know, it's grown, and now they're coming along quite nicely. So, I've separated them all in the pots, in a big pot and that. So, just waiting for them all to grow now. But with this sunshine, it's beautiful. It's perfect conditions for them. Ah, okay. Yeah, I should have asked that question really, whether you was on about farming sim or the real world. It's not a bad game, farming sim. Like I said, I think it's just straight out of the gate, you've got to really decide like what sort of direction you want to take with it, because you end up coming to a point where you've got so much going on, you can't keep up with it all. Nicely done. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's surprising, isn't it? Like you said, nature is a very powerful thing. Like you said, if it wants to grow, it's going to grow. And it's so simple and easy too. I mean, with the cost of, living and everything, if more people grew their own produce, they'd save an awful lot of money on it, that's for sure. Because it's not hard, but it's obviously not for everyone. Oh, is that right, Stu? Any particular reason, or is it you just find it like a tedious process? I mean, don't get me wrong, gardening can have its downsides, but it depends on what you class as gardening, really. I mean, if I was sorting out the garden, is more so maintenance, isn't it? Yeah, Eugene, you can I mean, currently I'm growing my potatoes in carrier bags. It works. You can buy grow bags and stuff, but I mean, yeah, it just depends on what you want to do, really. Yeah, Stu, I get you, mate. I get you. Yeah, definitely, Eugene. And one of the perks of it is, because I've got young children, small hands and everything, you can hang them up. Common misconception is that they don't need to be planted in the ground. As long as as long as you look after them, it's all good. They're in the I wouldn't recommend like using like the plastic bags, you know, or like a bag for life, because they're a bit weighty. You know, they stretch and stuff, so over time they'll end up drooping. The last thing you want is all your spuds on the ground. So I use the you know what I mean, like the Asda and Morrison's bags, you know, like the tougher material. You know, I mean, the part of the country that I live in, I mean, it's primarily farming anyway. But when I attended school, I actually got a qualification in environmental land-based science. So, you know, I enjoyed that aspect of things. So when it comes to the recent update that came to Farming Sim, precision farming, you know, knowing all the pH scales and the nitrogen and all that sort of stuff, you know, it's all good. Yeah, exactly, Eugene. I mean, one thing that would be really cool if they incorporated it in Farming Sim was crop rotation, because obviously you don't plant the same crop in the same place, you know, for the pesticides and all that sort of stuff. Instead of spraying your veg and stuff with chemicals, you know, there's a natural way of doing it, and most of the plants offer, you know, protection for other plants. So it's pretty cool. Oh, not paying attention. I get you, Stu, I get you. Enter at your own risk. But yeah, homegrown definitely tastes amazing. And you get, it's satisfying as well. You get, you know, you get a little bit of like sense of achievement when you grow your own veg. It could be, Eugene, it could be. It could be. I mean, it would be nice to see. At the end of the day, it is a farming simulator, and you know, some of the key elements to farming in the real world are missing. Yeah, the game is a bit OCD inducing, and you know, that's why I never play a game like House Flipper or something, especially that lawn mowing sim. You know, you complete the garden, but there's still grass left. You're like, okay, how does that work? Yeah, yeah, Eugene. I mean, I had the same problem as well, especially with a beginner mower, you know. But then again, it's like things with Farm Sim. You know, Farm Sim offers grass cutting too, a little bit more extensively as well, you know, the whole process. So, you know, if you, like I say to people, if you want to play lawn mowing sim, then you may as well just buy farming sim. Yes, Stu. I mean, it would be nice if they, you know, if they tweak the AI a little bit, you know, the workers, and get them to create fields, you know, even if it's just like a little template or something, you know, just here you go, I want this size field, plow it for me. Oh, damn. How does it feel to get rear-ended yourself? Yeah, that's a good way of doing it, Eugene. I mean, if you even wanted to be a little bit, you know, pedantic about it, you could essentially use fences to mark out the size and the shape of the field that you want, and then just plow within in the confines of that, get the perfect shape. Yeah, it's true. The only problem is with that is that, you know, the AI workers don't seem to cover all of the ground, you know, especially when it comes to planting. I usually go around the outside first and then let the AI do their thing. Yeah. But yeah, guys, I've got a couple of options that I could stream later. I mean, I might do DayZ, um, but then I could potentially work on a bit of Green Hell. It all really depends on what you guys want to see, to be honest. Could even do a multiplayer for Farming Sim, Snow Runner, whatever. Oh, and yes, Stu, I did try and add you on PlayStation, but it did say that you had it was something to do with your current privacy settings. I did see your message at the tail end of one of my streams, and I did try, but yeah, it said that it was something to do with your privacy settings. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Stu. Honestly, I do. Like, without you guys, you know, it would be pretty boring, but, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, I don't really mind. I mean, more to the point, you know, I created this channel to kind of build a community in a way, you know, to get people involved. And if I can, then I will, you know. Damn. These roads definitely need to be wider. Let's have a stop a minute. Okay, Eugene, yeah, no worries. I mean, that's the only downside to SnowRunner and Farming Sim, you know, especially with mods. You know, it is a bit hectic. But yeah, last night I hit the 20 subscriber mark. I was pretty chuffed for that. Must be doing something right, you know. Yeah, that's it, Eugene. I mean, like I said, the first three maps that I played, I absolutely loved, you know, because it was a little bit simpler. But these new maps, they just, I think, honestly, they're designed that way to kind of bloat it a little bit, you know, to keep you at it whilst they work on new content. Cheers, Eugene. I appreciate that. You know, what really sparked me to start the channel up was I was always annoyed when, you know, you come across some videos and you click on it and it says that it's going to give you the information which you searched, you know, and then they never actually get around to saying it, and you never really get a definitive answer. So what I decided to do was start up my own channel and at least try and provide people with information about these topics without, you know, blowing smoke. Do you know what I mean? Just much prefer just to get straight to the point, you know, give my verdict, give my opinion, because that's all it is at the end of the day. Just try and help people not to make the same mistakes, but, you know, we're all human. Yeah, 100%, Eugene, 100%. You know, I mean, mods are becoming a little bit more of a staple with that game, so yeah, the maps are definitely being designed around that aspect. You know, which is fine, but the problem is you run a modded map with, you know, modded trucks with stupid amounts of power through a map. It damages all your terrain. You're basically terraforming. And when you try and take a vanilla truck through it, you've got no chance. Crumbs, that was a bit tight. I hate it. You get stuck in a little rut and you just ride the corners like you're on rails. Slow down a bit. But yeah, it's rather warm. It goes back to what I was saying about this game more than anything, you know. It's such a mixed bag, 50-50. You know, some days you can have a pleasant experience, you know, a clean journey with no AI trouble. And then the next day you can be up to your neck in it, you know. But I appreciate you all being here anyway. Just enjoy talking to you. Cool, who's turned the thermostat up? Damn, it's getting a bit warm. So what farm are you on at the moment, Eugene? What map, sorry, should I say? Welcome all that's just joined the stream. Oh yeah, Western Wilds, yeah, that's not a bad map. Especially with a train as well. Yeah, the logging element of farming sim, I mean, it's definitely a hard thing to grasp straight out of the gate, but you know, it's actually quite enjoyable. I mean, I've used some of the bigger pieces of equipment, you know, that cut the logs to the specific lengths and all that sort of stuff. What I tend to do is just have a big trailer and just cut the logs above it so that they drop into the trailer, rather than cutting them and then having to scoop them up and put them in the trailer. But I mean, a bit of maybe some auto loading for logs as well. I know the PC have got it, but it would be nice to see at least, you know, because the picking the logs up, I find, is the tedious part, you know. Yeah, definitely make things a little bit easier, wouldn't it, Eugene? Yeah. Like I say, any length trailer that would support an auto load feature, whether it be, you know, what you just said or not, you know, just being able to have an option to at least have something. You know, I mean, but like I said, the mods are getting better and better, and there's more coming out. So, you know, it's definitely in the pipeline. I mean, I know a lot of people, they don't like the whole auto loading aspect of it. But I mean, when you've got 1,000,001 things going on, the last thing you want to be doing is picking up logs. The one bit I don't actually like about cutting trees down is the stumps, removing the stumps. Some pieces of machinery, you know, you go over to a tree and it tells you that tree type isn't supported. You think to yourself, you know, why isn't it supported? You know, you should be able to cut it down, surely. Yeah, I use the big mulcher as well. I think it's just I think it's more so the inconvenience of just having to do it. 10 kilometers to go. It's not been a bad little haul. Definitely enjoyed it a little bit more without the trailer on the back. That thing seems to have a mind of its own. Yeah, no worries, Stu. Like I said, I'll send you over a request a little bit later on today. I mean, the microphone's not overly important, you know. Or do you mean the process of getting into a party? I mean, when I first started this YouTube channel up, you know, I uploaded a few videos, and I, to be honest with you, it was more of like a confidence thing. I didn't know what I would say, you know, using my voice for the first time, you know, but then I just thought, you know what, I'll just take the plunge, try it out, and, you know, it's not been too bad so far. Yeah, I mean they did update it so you can have you can add people to a party now. The system's a bit different, but you know it's definitely a lot more technical than what it used to be. That's for sure. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining the stream. If you did like it, don't forget to leave a cheeky like on your way out, and obviously subscribe and turn that notification bell on. But until next time, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall catch you all in the next one. Take it easy.